great items. They offer a lot of experience and some great magic.
It is very good to have for those, particularly for those Kefka fights. But that 80 mana, I believe it is, 60 mana, something like that. It's it's a lot.
Absolutely. So we got Fraggle doing what I like to normally do at the beginning of a seed is check out South Figaro for the I think it's like 18 chests that you can easily get real quick.
Yep. And immediately sells that cursed shield, decides that 21 battles is not worth the investment.
See this. Ooh, and he
Uh,
picks up a force shield.
well, I'd rather have a force shield than a curse shield, and a lot of times.
hmm
Yeah.
There's Excaliburs at the shop of Narsh that Edgeworth just found. It's a good
You know,
find.
I find Excaliburs to be one of those things when you read the name, you're like, ooh, the Excalibur, I'm super excited about it. And then you look at the stats and compare it to like Illumina's and Ragnarok's, and you kind of go, oh,
Yeah, but I mean, Excalibur is going to be the one sword you'll get off of fighting Goddess. It's going to kind of it'll take you to the end.
it will. I mean, it is better than the majority of weapons in the game. It's just not as exciting as the name Excalibur would lead you to believe. Let's see. I did notice, I believe it was Boo who has gone to Albrook, one of the other early checks a lot of racers have been doing lately for those early chests and a couple of shops. And Boo also sells the curse shield. There is not going to be very many paladin shields on stream tonight, if any. That will give us a chance if someone decides to do it to see if that was a worthwhile investment.
We got Jack equipping the curse shield, so I think he's going for it. Does the curse cleansing still increment, even though that the status? I thought the status effect would still apply after equipping during battle.
I am pretty sure that it will increment as long as it is equipped. And if you really want to invest the time and the effort to swap it on and off um, in battle 21 times, more power to you. I don't have that kind of patience. So I did notice that most of our runners went through World of Ruin South Figaro, but the World of Ruin and the World of Balance South Figaro chests will be different in this randomizer. and the box where everyone else got the force shield, Edgeworth got a pair of fixed dice. Which of those would you rather have?
I'd rather go for the fixed dice. To be honest.
Fixed dice, for those people who might not know, it rolls 3 dice, multiplies those numbers together, and then multiplies it times your level. There's a bonus if you roll 3 of the same number.
And we got
Uh,
I was gonna say we got Ultra saying that the curse shield also increments as long as you don't equip it to Go-Go. That's
Correct.
a very good thing to note.
It also won't increment if you equip it to Umaro, although that is only mildly relevant if you have a equipable Umaro set in one of our flags. And that's because it triggers off of grabbing MP from the end of a battle. Fraggle is giving us this first look into what will be the tentacles check, and he is finding a Celis. That is exciting. That's going to open up a lot of possibilities for Fraggle.
Absolutely, Celis offers a lot of quick checks. My favorite check being the Magitech Factory. I know some people try to stay away from it, but I always go in there if I can. It's not that long of a check, and there's a lot of good items that you could possibly get.
So Fraggle is heading that way. Jackamus is heading into Cyan's Dream. Another popular choice because Cyan's Dream, when you complete it, it will unlock all of Cyan's sword techs. And that cleave is very, very powerful, particularly with our faster charging sword tech meter.
Yeah, I think this is Jack's preferred route because he is going to use that cleave. That's how he's going to level.
And I would say lucking out pretty well getting the Ifrit Shiva fight at the Three Stooges spot. Depending on what the bosses are here, you can get a little walled just because, once you're in the dream, you're kind of stuck in the dream unless you have a save outside of it. And he is giving us an Esper. He is summoning Bahamut, getting some use out of those Espers. Not something we see very often.
He's set up pretty well. He's got the flare and Bahamut, so he's gonna negate any reflect statuses.
Fraggle, on the other hand, at the tentacle spot, hits
Ooh.
Magimaster. Good news. Good news is Magimaster will not counter with Ultima at the end. Bad news, it's still Magimaster.
The good thing for Fraggle is he does have Dispatch, although he doesn't have a living Cyan, so
yeah,
he's gonna go ahead with the reset on that one.
I completely sympathize with that one. Magimaster, if you're not ready for it, can be a bear of a battle. Although, if you have wall rings and can just equip the wall rings and then literally do nothing, literally just sit there and let Magimaster kill himself with reflected spells, it is a guaranteed win.
It is a guaranteed win. However, your fight's probably gonna take like 15 to 20 minutes sitting there waiting. I mean, he has a possibility of healing himself, right?
No, because if you do nothing, you never actually trigger his script to start changing his resistances and elements that he absorbs.
Oh, okay.
So it's literally equip wall rings and wait.
Gotcha. See, I've done the I've killed Magimaster by rasping all the MP to 0.
That takes forever. Boo and Edgeworth are giving us a peek into the Returner's hideout. Another good place to get a few chests along the way. I did see a gold hairpin. Gold hairpins are always welcome. Half that MP usage, especially if your only life spell is going to be life 2, which is expensive. That gold hairpin will make it a little less painful.
Ooh, Edge didn't go for the. I was wondering what was in the wall chest.
And Jack is also showing us that the first check, the character that he is going to get from the dream is Shadow. Shadow, another one who opens up a lot of really dense checks. As well, if you find some of those skeins that you can throw and just power level him up, Shadow is a really powerful character in his own right. Throw is the phrase I'm looking for, stupidly powerful.
So Jackmus is fighting the Sir Behemoth.
I've always wondered, is it Sir Behemoth or Senor Behemoth?
I've always called him Sir Behemoth because I
Okay.
don't know. The one thing I do know is if say you're doing, I do play this this randomizer in the random boss variation, so I do get a lot of copies. So usually the first one will be the Sir Behemoth with 2 phases, and then every other one you'll get is the brown second phase. If you happen to get into battle and you get the brown second phase, you can immediately Phoenix down them and kill it.
Nice. I'll have to keep that in mind. I do think that random bosses are underutilized. I think the possibility to encounter multiple, fire chickens or multiple goddesses is undervalued,
Oh, it's a good time.
at least from a viewer's perspective. And Jack takes a wipe there to that behemoth. I'm wondering is he going to try to take a couple of battles and grind a couple of levels, or what is his strategy going forward here? While he does that, Fraggle is making his way through the Ifrit and Shiva fight. I'm a little concerned for that 16 HP Cyan.
Can Jack actually grind before that fight? I think after you wake up right there, there's no more random encounters.
Is there? I'm not actually positive on that one.
I think he's just gotta zerg it.
Just hope.
Yep.
And hope that Meteo doesn't come like it just did.
Yep.
Rough. These are some early bosses that are not very friendly to our runners. It's going to be really interesting to see which one is able to, sort of make that first breakthrough, get that first character, and make some progression here.
We got fire rods on Edgeworth's screen.
I think that would effectively be considered a breakthrough.
And he's got fixed dice, and fire rods. He's good to go.
Yeah, he's still base level on all of his characters, so I would hope for a couple of easy grind fights, gain a couple of levels, and then head on through. Jack takes another wipe, and he's going back at it again. Meteo is an unkind spell.
It is. I mean, even in the later levels, when you're already leveled up to like past 60, it can still pose to be a huge threat.
Fraggle is now has found Flame Eater in the cave to South Figaro, in the tunnel armor spot. Hopefully, he'll be able to get through that. While Edgeworth finds Hydon, which is one of the easiest bosses in the game.
Yep, he's right up there with the Ghost Train.
All you need to do is throw a Phoenix down or Revivify, and it is done. Jack is showing us that you can actually do some grinding here, but these mobs are not the best for grinding.
For some reason, I thought you couldn't get random encounters here. Been a while. Yeah, I do agree with chat. I believe he's going to be banking on the Paladin Shield since he was one of the very few that didn't.
Didn't immediately sell it.
And that Paladin Shield's going to be awesome against Meteo.
I don't believe it will absorb Meteo, but it will give you a good chance to
block it.
To block it or evade it. Fraggle is struggling a little bit with Flame Eater. He did have an Ice Rod at the beginning. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you can actually single target rods and shields. Just sort of do the opposite that you would do to multi-target a spell, and you can, in fact, single target that Ice Rod.
That's a new one for me, Rav. Thank you for that. I didn't know that.
You can. So not only Jackamus has found a cutscene that I found the other day and was really sad when I couldn't leave the room until the cutscene ended.
the I Love With You cutscene. It's great.
Yes. Great cutscene, at least with Shadow. It's appropriate. The last time I saw it, it was Strago with a much younger wife, which was a little weird. And I chose not to think about it too much. And in fact, if you just saw Edgeworth did the single targeting of the Ice Rod, you can see that it is just on the Flame Eater instead of on the balloons, which means there is no split damage, but that also was not quite enough.
Now he's got balloons to deal with too. But Noise Blaster is really great for fights with balloons like that. Confuse them all, and they're not attacking you anymore. So hopefully you can drill the boss a couple more times and finish it off.
Absolutely. There we go. Edgeworth giving us a peek into some progression. What do we find? It's probably going to be something like a heal rod, because let's just remember I rolled this seed, which means it's not going to be kind.
And that just goes to show that, we saw Fraggle and Edgeworth go for the same fight, and your approach can make a huge difference on how the outcome,
Yep.
So
absolutely. Gets another Esper Tritalk. It's fine. Fraggle finds up at the top of Mount Zozo another Esper as well. So it's looking like our two choices for progression in terms of characters are either Celis behind Badgiemaster or Shadow behind Sir Behemoth. I
mean, have we checked Tritalk location or Battle at Narshe?
I have not seen anyone check Battle at Narshe. Can Tritalk give a character now? I've never seen one there, but I know it's no longer a guaranteed Esper. Were characters added to that pool? Do you know?
No, I believe you're right. I don't think we've seen Tritalk, but I mean, I think at this point, since some of the runners are struggling, it might be a good time to go and take down a dragon to get like some early experience and maybe an item.
True. Boo is giving us now a peek into Phoenix Cave. We'll see if he's able to find some progression there or not. And Fraggle's checking World of Balance Doma. Another check I don't believe we've seen.
I'm just hoping for Boo's sake, Boo can take down that dragon, because it would not be great to have to come back through here.
Yeah, I think if you are, although he did find an experience egg, that is incredibly useful.
Yeah, they were for sale, I believe.
I did a seed the other day where I was able to grab a couple of experience eggs, and my characters were in the low 60s by the time I was headed to the Kefka fight. It was not hard. So 8 dragons will tend, with boss XP, will tend to inflate your levels a little bit. So the final Kefka fight should not be necessarily as challenging, but that doesn't mean that it can't wipe you if you're not careful. Kefka has those ultimate counters and Fallen One and Hyperdriver and Goner and can still eliminate you.
I feel like it usually just comes down to timing on the last phase of Kefka. Because when the screen's shaking, you're not going to get them to counter you. And if your party's that strong, you might as well just kind of wait for the screen to start shaking and then just blast them.
So Jack takes a reset out of the Magimaster fight. Edgeworth is sitting there with a wall ring. And as you can see, Magimaster will just continue to nuke himself without ever changing his resistances.
See, that's a lot better than what I have been doing myself. I kept changing the wall on Magimaster with wall rings, so now I know. Don't do anything.
Fraggle finds that Hydon, which I now realize we had already seen, but did not put together that it was at Doma Castle. Which is going to be another Esper for him. I don't think actually any of the Espers we've seen have been particularly exciting.
Not really, but having Bahamut just under your belt is good for some of these bosses. Hopefully, they can find if they're not going to get any very, very good spells on their Espers, hopefully they can at least find like Golem for Kefka.
Yeah, if they can find either Golem or Fenrir, the Kefka fight's going to be a lot safer. That tier 3 is like my bugaboo in terms of the Kefka fight. I probably over-prepare to deal with Calmness. Boo does take a peek at the dragon in Phoenix Cave, and it is the blue dragon, and immediately wipes him with a clean sweep.
I think, to me, and this is just me, the blue dragon is the hardest dragon in my opinion. I think the clean sweep, he has clean sweep, that will just wipe your party unless your magic resistance is up.
Or your level is high enough, either, and your HP is up. But yeah, because especially water immunity and resistances are not the most common to fight in, or common to find on equipment. I think the most common equipment that has it is actually the Imp armor. So if he happens to have some of that Imp armor, he could equip it to absorb that water element. Take a look down at Edgeworth. He was a little bored there and put up a picture of a bored cat. But there we go. Edgeworth is the first one to get an extra character and now has several more checks open to him than the rest of our runners. Boo finds another Magicite at the end of Phoenix Cave. I'm waiting for our first runner to go check Kefka at Narsh just for the hope that it's a character and they don't have to go through Magimaster or Sir Behemoth.
Well, Edgeworth with Celis now really has a lot more stuff to do. So hopefully, where do you think Edgeworth is going to go first? Probably South Figaro, I'm thinking.
That's where I would be checking. I'd be checking South Figaro immediately. Do you know if you can check Celis' cell in the World of Ruin, or does it have to be World of Balance?
I believe it can be done in both.
I think you're right, but I've never actually checked it in the World of Ruin. Looks like Fraggle is going to give us a peek at that Kefka at Narsh fight and hope for a character. If this seed is going to stay true to form, if it is a character, it's going to be something like Mog that opens one check. because so far this seed has not been very kind to our runners. Edgeworth did find the Fenrir Esper, which is very useful for that Kefka at Narsh fight. There I am, getting my Kefkas confused.
Looks like it might be an Esper.
It doesn't look like a character, so Fraggle's still going to go give it a shot since he's already there. Jack, it looks like, found 3 wall rings and has sped up the Magimaster fight, but he is also doing the wall ring and weight strat.
So we got a gold dragon. I believe that's Mount Zozo on Boo's screen.
Yeah, doesn't look like it's going all that well, though. That he almost got taken down to a Bolt 1. That is one of the things that has always confused me about the Gold Dragon. So the Gold Dragon in Vanilla is one that you find in Kefka's Tower.
Right.
And most of the time, whenever I would fight him in Kefka's Tower, he would cast Bolt 1 on me. Why? This is the final dungeon, guys. Why are we using Bolt 1?
I'll tell you something funny though. We found Gao in Celis's cell. But the gold dragon is actually the dragon I turned into an item with Ragnarok when I first started playing this randomizer.
Nice. What item did you get from it? Do you remember?
Crystal orb.
Woo!
But I mean,
how exciting!
Insta killing a dragon by turning them into an item is pretty exciting.
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic. I wonder if Edgeworth is even going to check to see what Gao's rages are to see if he's worth using, or if he's just going to leave him on the airship.
I mean, at this point, he probably doesn't need it. Well, he's going to check it, probably. Hopefully he's got some dried meat.
Edgeworth, are you listening? Those are not exciting rages.
Nope. Well, being able to change your party at this NPC is pretty handy.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. That is one of the many quality of life changes that I am so thrilled Atma has put in for this randomizer. Especially because if you got to 4 characters and you needed to do the dried meat check, it was very hard for you to change your party to have less than 4 characters in it. Edgeworth is now checking out the opera after Celis's cell is now headed to give us some fantastic music. Although I appreciate from a running standpoint that the whole opera isn't in the randomizer. I am sad from a viewer standpoint that we don't get to listen to the opera.
He pulled the wrong lever.
At least he remembers which lever he needs to pull in the World of Ruin now.
Yep, he's ready for the dragon.
Although from a storyline perspective, why couldn't you pull that lever, get down there, and tell Maria to get out from under the 5-ton weight? Like, couldn't you solve this problem by having her step like 3 feet to the left?
But then you ruin the whole scene.
But Maria doesn't die.
The opera manager really had his own set of priorities.
Right? Looks like that Kefka at Narsh boss is a Rexol, which is another boss that is not kind to fight, and Boo has found Doom. I am so sorry, folks. I am so sorry that these bosses are so mean.
They really haven't found a lot of defensive gear. That's my biggest concern.
Looks like Jack got through his Magimaster fight and is now doing the Ancient Castle. Let's see what he finds down here. And there's a decent number of chests here in the Ancient Castle, so might be able to find some decent gear while he's here as well. And what does Jack get? Another Magicite, which learns X-Zone, which is okay, I guess.
Ice Dragon. It's a pretty easy one.
Ice Dragon is always one of those ones that I'm like, but you're so small and cute. How are you a dragon?
I believe you get the force armor off of an Ice Dragon.
I think you are correct, but don't quote me on it. Boo is trucking his way through that doom. I wonder how long that ice protection on Cyan is going to last him. Well,
Ooh.
not long enough. Unfortunately, he had just run into the Doomgaze wandering around the world. And Edgeworth finds us another one of our longer bosses in the Piranha Rizzo Pass. I believe it's been changed to be, 30 to 90 seconds instead of the guaranteed 60.
Mhm.
Something like that. So it's it has the possibility of being shorter than normal. It also has the possibility of not being shorter than normal.
So the opera was attacked by piranhas.
It seems like this opera house must be built over a river or a lake or something because it has issues with water life getting into it. It has an octopus in there. It has piranhas. What is that stage made out of that like this can happen?
I mean, they are on the coast, so.
Edgeworth has now made his way through. Let's see what the reward for that opera is while Fraggle takes another shot at Rexall. Boo is doing some shopping. And where is Jack headed to?
Yeah, they only have a few shields. That's like the only thing they got going on for their defense right now.
And
Jack.
Boo does find the some thunder shields, so that will be helpful. But yeah, Jack did take a wipe to that ice dragon. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh. Fraggle's still trucking along on this Rexall.
It is attempt 2 at Rexall. So with any luck, he'll be able to get through this time. Although with that double bolt 3 on Cyan, that is that's a little concerning. Jack is going to take another swing at that ice dragon. Maybe. And it looks like Edge is now headed to Cyan's Dream. Has Edge already seen that it is Sir Behemoth there? Or is this going to be new to him?
I believe this is gonna be new to him.
Well,
I don't think he's gonna have too much of an issue.
Good luck. Good luck to him. Fraggle making his way through the Rexall fight. Now, I know that I I think it used to be that with the Kefka Narsh fight, if you wipe to the boss, it would keep its HP loss. No, that was the Doomgaze spot. Never mind.
Right.
And I'm also not sure if that's been changed.
Doomgaze spot, I don't know. But if you die at Kefka Narsh, you go back to the top of the map by where Banon usually is standing.
Right. But I believe the boss gets a full heal, so.
So that, always make sure you save, because if you kill all the enemies or all the marching enemies, you might be stuck up there if you can't actually kill the boss, regardless of you not gaming over.
I mean, unless those enemies aren't giving you any XP, you're going to gain a few levels. Fraggle does get through and gets a snow muffler, which is an item that I am always happy to see, but not really what Fraggle wants right now.
Probably not, but he does have some levels over some of the other runners, and he's got some snow muffler's gonna keep him alive. So hopefully he can use that to catch up a little bit.
Yep. Jack is, I believe he got through that dragon, so he is now leaving the ancient cave. And Boo took a reset, but I'm not 100% sure on what. I missed what he might have had a little bit of trouble there with. Edge has gotten through that Ifrit and Shiva fight. Soon he will find the joy that is Sir Behemoth there in a moment. Edge will certainly be happy when he sees that Shadow's going to be his reward. Shadow's a character I'm always happy to see.
I think Boo's gonna go for this dragon again, gold dragon.
If I were Boo at this point, what Boo really needs is just to gain a few levels, because this is progression times 2, and his enemies are at least level 14, give or take. And I think his characters are still level 5. So, fighting a few battles, gaining a few levels, I think might really solve a few of Boo's problems here.
I believe with that Thunder Shield he might be okay. But even still, at like around level 14, that dragon's probably gonna have another 4,000 or 5,000 health, maybe.
And Jack goes and picks up his own copy of Gao. Looks like Gao, for most of our runners, is going to be relegated to airship duty. Gao is one of those characters who has the possibility of being your most powerful character if you have something like Stray Cat, or even, what's the next best physical one? I think it's Gold Bear?
I'm not sure about the physical ones. I still have to kind of get more familiar with the list, but I tend to go for stuff like Joker or Darling for the heal, or even what's the one that casts life 3? The
Magic Pot, Magic Urn.
Magic Urn might, but there's a dinosaur that casts life 3 constantly. Rocks, yeah, Rocks is it.
Yeah, so there are a lot of Gao's Rages that have a lot of very powerful abilities. And if with random rages, you get them and you have the knowledge of how to use them, Gao can be an incredibly powerful character. If you don't, he's less so. One of my favorite tricks with Gao is if you have a stray cat and an offering and either fixed dice or a Tempest sword, those do get the quadruple damage from the cat scratch ability. So you are able to get quad damage, wind slashes, and quad damage fixed dice.
We got Jackamus Wedge going up against the White Dragon. Looks like he might have gotten his Paladin Shield.
Oh, possibly. It does. So White Dragon is always one of those ones that I found quite challenging in vanilla, but I think that's mostly due to the fact that it was in Fnatic's Tower. When it's just on its own and you can smack it with a sword, not nearly as frightening. Looks like Edge has made it through the first phase of that Senior Behemoth fight and is getting up his characters so that they can get the XP from this fight, or at least a couple of them, before he Phoenix Downs that Behemoth.
It's a good strategy, but it's also quite risky for that, possible Meteo.
Absolutely. Another nice thing is that that fight always drops a Behemoth suit, and Behemoth suits are a great offensive piece of armor. That's an odd statement, an offensive piece of armor. It gives you good magic stats.
It does. It also drops a Thunderblade every time, too. If you've got nothing else at the time.
Which is true, and I'm sure that it has some uses. I usually sell it.
But he's also got Shadow now, so you need to start throwing it.
True. And he got another Esper from the Dream right there. Didn't have any exciting spells on it. Definitely, our magic choice this particular seed has been underwhelming at best. I just have not been thrilled by it. I'm usually looking for some tier 3 spells. Flare's okay. But that's what I'm on the lookout for. Jack now giving us a peek at the Tritalk spot and finding a squid. And this looks to be the Squid and Chupon fight, which means once Chupon comes, he's the only one you actually need to beat. Sorry, Van. Did you see in chat, Shadow, they're mentioning that Shadow's very good at throwing all that extra equipment that you find.
Mm-hmm.
And Casmussen responds with, it's angry inventory management.
That's awesome.
Okay. Ultros is an octopus, not a squid. There is a technical difference.
He's seafood soup. That's what's happening right now. He's seafood soup.
So, does it really matter in the end if he's going to just be sliced and diced?
Jackamus Wedge is making calamari right now.
Fraggle going through the White Dragon himself now. And Jack finds another Esper. Let's see if that's going to be one that's worth writing home about. Magic power +2. I would take that every time.
And Cure 2 times 16. Can't be
There we go. It appears that Edge just found another pair of fixed dice. So he does have Genji Glove fixed dice going on, but I don't think he's found an offering yet.
Wait, did he just buy it?
I think he bought it in Vector of all
Oh.
places.
Yeah, that's a shop I don't think a lot of people check.
It's a shop I forget exists on the regular. Fraggle has the Esper Tritalk, which gives magic power +1 and fire 3. So, you know, that's okay. We're starting to get a little bit better in terms of our magic choices here. And Boo is having fun going through that Rexol fight. Boo still hasn't gained very many levels on his characters. You know, one good thing about that though is the longer you wait, the more progression you do before you level up, the faster it will be because they will all be giving you more XP per fight.
Well, that and he'll actually be able to utilize those stat gains on those Espers in a better fashion than not. So
Also
hopefully,
very true.
hopefully he'll utilize it in the best way to make his characters overpowered.
I mean, not that you really have to work too hard to make your characters overpowered in this game.
Not really. I like to get, but I do like to get the +2 strength on my Cyan at least.
Looks like the first boss in Magitech Factory is Tentacles. Tentacles, one of those battles, it's not particularly hard if you have, 4 characters and any amount of, like, levels and some offensive power, but it's an obnoxious fight.
It is pretty difficult if you get Tentacles like for your first boss fight in a seed, because that Seize can do like a tick for like 65, yeah, like around 63 damage each time. I think regardless of your level. So yeah, if you don't have a good health pool, this boss could be kind of tricky.
Absolutely. But if you have running shoes or marble shoes, the tentacles can't do that much to you.
And we got Jack Miss Wedge fighting a vanilla location dirt dragon at the
Is
opera.
this even randomized? Sorry, I'm legally required to ask that question, right?
Absolutely. And the only thing you really want to do for the dirt dragon is cast float on your party, so you don't have to deal with Quake. Once you don't have it, then you just go for gold.
Then you pray. He got the Quake. Is he going to live? 2 of his characters lived.
He's got life too.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like he's going to use it. There we go. There we go. Now it looks like most of our runners have sort of broken through the initial gate of this seed and started finding ways to get through. I don't know about you, but I always find the first 20 to 30 minutes of a seed in Worlds Collide to be the most challenging. Then I find either a good piece of gear or a good spell or something that just sort of helps me crack open the seed.
Absolutely. Your first 20 minutes, you're probably going to figure out whether you're going to have like more of a offensive or maybe like a passive start to your game, depending on what you get. You always got to go for those hidden item checks. That's what's really gonna kind of slingshot you forward.
Yeah. You got to find that thing that will get you through that first roadblock. And generally, once you're getting through that first roadblock, maybe the first 2, everything else will sort of fall into place in my experience. Let's see, Jack's still working his way through that dirt dragon. Edgeworth just finished off a Vargas at the number 24 spot. Vargas, another boss that's not that threatening at the best of times. And he gets rewarded with my favorite favorite item in the game, a heal rod.
Is it because it's the strongest weapon to throw for Shadow?
It's because I hate it.
It's good if you have Shadow in your party, though.
True, but I believe it automatically targets your own party, so if you're not careful, you will hit yourself with it. Let's see, Jack has now made it through that dirt dragon, and as soon as he does, Fraggle picks it up. So we will continue to see dirt dragon / Tyrannosaurus dragon, whatever. This game's definition of a dragon confuses me a little bit. We have everything from a tiny little lizard to a Tyrannosaurus to a Brontosaurus. What is a dragon?
Ooh, Boo finally making his way over to the tunnel armor location.
Yeah. And Jack is headed to Miranda. I guess he's here for some shopping? Miranda's one of those towns that I always forget exists because it almost never has anything that I want in it. There's no checks here, there's no relic shop. I don't even think there's an item shop. There's weapons and armor. Yes, Edge is now headed down to the ancient castle. And Jack is just on a shopping spree. Not entirely sure what he would be looking for right now, but hope he finds it.
I think he's looking for the fixed dice.
I hope they aren't listening to us. A pair of earrings is always worth it.
That Aegis shield.
That Aegis shield certainly is tempting. And selling a few items, and he'll be able to get himself his own copy of one. Here's another thing that has always confused me about this game. So we're a bunch of adventurers going to literally save the world from a crazed megalomaniac clown, and you are still going to charge me for equipment to do so.
I mean, still got to run a business, right?
I'm saving the world. Like, literally saving the world. I mean, that's the most egregious when you find that that vendor in a final dungeon in an RPG.
Right.
Know, just before the final boss, it's like, what is your business model here, man? Jack is now going through the Phoenix Cave. He is, I believe, doing his dragon hunt right now. Just trying to get through as many of those dragons as he can. Because once you get through those dragons, your party's going to be a pretty good level, and you're going to have some pretty good items from them.
Oh yeah. If you're lacking any offensive or defensive items, the dragons might have what you're looking for.
Or they might have 8 heal rods. Sorry, as a runner, I hate to see things like heal rods and other trolly things. As a viewer, I love watching our runners struggle. I'm just that kind of guy. There we go. Edge has made it through that ice dragon. And Boo is now headed to that donut castle.
The Hedon.
Yep, he'll be pretty happy to see that hide on and take it out pretty quickly. Ooh, he even has the Revivify for the faster animation. It's definitely looking like now most of our runners are starting to overlap quite a bit, treading over areas that we as viewers have already seen uh, as they're trying to clear out things and get what they need to go for that final Kefka's Tower fight. Although, is this right? Fraggle has still not gained a fourth character? I am actually amazed at how much content he is able to do without finding that fourth character. Huh.
That is pretty interesting. Looks like Boo might be in the same boat as well.
I guess that just goes to show you when you start off with 3 characters, each of whom have 3 separate checks, and some of those checks give you multiple rewards, there is a lot you can do without finding a character.
Oh, he's crazy. Oh, I thought he was gonna save like right there and make his save point. Spawn the dragon right away.
I mean, that's a choice that you could make. I wouldn't. But that's me. Looks like both Edge and Jack, they both have Shadow. Do you think they're going to do the floating continent?
At this point, I mean, I would definitely do the 3 checks where you can absolutely get a character, but especially with their Esper counts not being quite there yet. They might seem like big checks to a lot of people, but you can go through some of them pretty quickly. Especially if you already have a good setup like Jack does. Like, he probably doesn't need to be checking too many more chests.
Yeah, or going for that monster in a box that you can fight. I would probably skip that if I were in his position.
Yeah, I typically don't go for monsters in boxes unless I'm like I know I want an offering. If I'm okay without it, then I just avoid all of them.
Some of them have some pretty good rewards. I was playing a seed the other day where monster in a boxes were also shuffled into the regular monster pool, and I had to fight 3 presenters to get to the floating continent.
Oh, very nice.
I was less than pleased. That would be an interesting sort of challenge mode, mixing espers into chests, either monster in a box chests or just regular chests. Sort of like the free enterprise where you can mix in the trap chests and summon monster fights for key items. What would you think of a treasure hunt mode like that?
I have done a few treasure hunt modes like that in other Final Fantasy randos. They can be a lot of fun, but if you're looking for it'd have to be kind of like where you don't have to require a lot of them in there. Maybe just kind of like loose, maybe a few here and there, where the player can still complete the seed without finding all of them.
especially because there are some missable chests.
Yeah,
Like if you
there's a lot of chests in these games.
I would probably start off with just including them as rewards for monsters in a box. That would actually,
Oh yeah, that'd
I
be
think,
perfect.
incentivize doing them a little bit more. Edge has remembered to heal his party before he fights that dragon, considering the Phoenix Cave does tend to leave you at 1 HP.
I also wouldn't mind like seeing another seed ran where we give out all the gold in the seed and set the multiplier to 0. See how people manage their money.
Yeah, there are certainly a lot of possibilities for some interesting challenge. I'm not even sure if challenge is the right word. Gimmick, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have a set amount of money, but at that point, I would also want random shops so that you are incentivized to spend that money.
Right. Yeah, random shops and you run you run out of your money real quick. I actually did a seed like that. I think it was one of the seed of the weeks, and I didn't even notice, and I spent all my money within the first 5 minutes. Yep. So you can have funny things happen like that, but we got Jack coming down from the next tower. Guess doesn't want to complete it.
I don't know why. He knows it's not the Magimaster. Right? Like, why wouldn't you already are going halfway up? You still need a few more things. Might as well, right? Oh, no Strago. That's a very good reason why you wouldn't complete the Fanatics Tower, because you can't. It's little details like that why I keep trackers around.
Absolutely.
Look,
So Fraggle's gonna come up on the Magimaster fight.
does he have wall rings? Or is he going to have to do this the hard way?
I'm thinking he's going for the hard way.
Looks like Boo has made his way through the dream and has that shadow and in his party, so it looks like he's planning on using that shadow. And if our tracking is correct, this is the last dragon Jackamus needs before he heads into Kefka's Tower to fight those last 2 dragons.
Yeah, this would be a good opportunity to, I would say, I would probably warp out of here and then go straight for Floating Continent just to get the last few things you need.
Get some checks out of the way. Let's see how Fraggle handles this Magimaster. Does he know it's Magimaster?
Well, he's got Flare, so...
Flare, the wonder of non-elemental damage. It might not be as powerful in terms of raw magic power as the tier 3 spells, but the fact that it is non-elemental is really, really useful.
I'm surprised he's not using that Bahamut on his lock.
I think he's using Locke as his cleric at this point.
All right, Jackmas down another dragon.
2 dragons left for Jack, and now he just needs to finish finding the rest of the requirements, and Jack's on his way.
Edgeworth has got a pretty strong team rolling right now.
Eh. Things are going better in a seed once all of my characters have 4-digit HP. Casmussen, do you mean like the Psycho Cyan glitch where he counters every action that happens, including his counter? Because that is still in the game. There has been some discussion of adding a flag to turn it off, much like the ability to skip Poltergeist Spot and Inferno in Kefka's Tower has a flag to turn that off. But I'm not sure what Atma's stance on that is at this point. Fraggle is handling this Magimaster a lot better than a lot of our other runners did, and probably a lot quicker, but he's going there at a much higher level and a higher power level than our other runners did. For having killed 6 dragons, Jack's level is not as high as I thought it would be at this point. I kind of expected him to be slightly more powerful than he is at the moment. And I
don't know. I think Jackmas is doing pretty good for his levels. I think he's avoided pretty much fighting other than bosses and dragons, though.
Yeah, he had those couple of grind fights at the beginning just to get through Cyan's Dream. And our wonderful developer Atmatech is in the chat saying that he is working on a flag for Psycho Cyan, and we're just figuring out if that's going to be the default flag or not. So once again, everyone should give a shout out to Atmatech for developing this randomizer and being both a fantastic developer and incredibly responsive to his community. So thank you to Atma. And while we're doing shoutouts, I do want to give a shout out to both Classy Badger, who is our restreamer and helping with tracking, and Dark Falls, who also has jumped in to help with our tracking as well. The only reason those numbers on your screen are as up to date as they are is because they've got 2 people working on them.
Yeah, it's actually a lot harder than it looks to watch 4 different people run a game.
Especially because they can go in such wildly different orders for things, as evidenced by the race we're watching in front of us.
So Edgeworth is on that quest for one more character, and then it's no mode at that point. He knows where all the dragons are.
Yep, and Jack only needs 1 Esper and 2 characters, and he's ready for Kefka's Tower. So between Jack and Edge, it's actually really close on, and really debatable on who's ahead of whom at this point.
It truly is, because I mean, Jackmas needs to find 2 more characters. I've been on the hunt for characters before, and it could take could take like 20 to 30 minutes just to find another one, depending on how many events he can get down. But doing, he's going back through Cyan's Dream to finish it off.
Chat pulling up a good point. He does know that Shadow is in here because he did nope out of the dream earlier. So Jack is heading there to get Shadow, and I think he's hoping that Shadow's going to lead to some other characters. But so far, I don't think we've seen evidence of that because no one's done the floating continent, and there definitely isn't a character in the cave at the Veld. Ooh, Boo took a wipe to that Magimaster, and looks like he might have lost a bit of progression there, depending on when he last saved. This Magimaster is proving to be a challenge for all of our racers, no matter when they fight it.
Magimaster is pretty tough.
Hey, at the very least, we got rid of that Ultima counterattack at the very end.
That is true. But before we did get rid of it, though, there was pretty neat strategies that were coming out of the woodworks to get past it.
There are certainly ways to get past it. You can have characters jump with Palador or with Dragon Boots to avoid it, although that requires good timing. Life 3 strats. Are there other strats that I'm forgetting?
I think that's pretty much it, but the jumping one was new to me, especially since with the jumping you also have to time killing the boss while someone's either in the air or hopefully with Palador your first two guys are going to kill the boss before the other two drop down.
Right. And as Classy puts it, bad news is it's still Magimaster. Boo is giving us a peek up into the floating continent, and while the last time I did this I saw multiple presenters, he's seeing multiple beginning of the game Narshguard fights. Rando's gonna rando at you.
And he's getting quite a bit of experience for those fights.
You know what? You don't need to rub it in. I ended that seed with like 5 pairs of Dragon Claws.
Oh dear. Dragon Claws are good, but I think they heal a phase of Kefka, if I'm not mistaken.
They have an element, so they would heal Girl. Yeah, Classy does bring up a good point. Boo has done 0 dragons. I hope he read the flags and knows that dragons are required. That would be unfortunate.
Ooh, I was wondering if Cleve worked on cranes.
Apparently not.
Yeah, not knowing the flag set is really going to be a damper on his finish time.
One thing that I usually do when I have a seed up is I do keep the notepad file that comes with the seed open on my other monitor so that I can check those things. I can check how many requirements there are. I can check to see what the shops and the treasure chest settings are, because I will forget, and that does impact the choices that you make.
It's so useful. You know, if you've played this rando before and you still haven't looked at the notepad, it'll display all of your settings in the web UI format, so it's very easy to read, and you don't have to copy all the flag sets to the website just to check
Right.
it out.
And to answer a chat question, if you haven't beaten the 6 outside of Kefka's Tower, it will it not let you land? I couldn't remember. I thought that they had just moved the gate to the door in front of Guardian and that it would let you in.
To be honest, I haven't tried.
To be honest, I haven't tried either. Boo does get another character. There is Sabin on the floating continent, which is going to open up a bunch more checks for Boo, which is good.
Bunch more quick checks. It's gonna be good way to kind of catch up, but not having any dragons done. He's got to get on the dragon killing squad.
Absolutely. Jack is now looking for one more character himself. Is he choosing to do the Serpent Trench? I love it. I love the Serpent Trench. It's one of the more underutilized checks, I think, in this game. It gives you a few guaranteed battles. You know you're going to get some XP. You're going to get your check at the end of it.
And you know, it doesn't take that long.
Right.
It really doesn't. You're gonna fight, I think, what, 4 or 5 battles total. Then you have about 3 rooms to run through.
Yeah, depending on which particular route you take.
I usually do the right to get the chests.
Those chests they have the possibility of being very worth it. They could be tonics, but you know. we don't play randomizers because, you know, we like to know everything that happened. We play
That's right.
randomizers because we're gamblers at heart, right?
And Boo found Dad.
Oh, Dadaluma, you are possibly the least frightening boss. Other than Doom, have we seen any of the statues?
I don't believe so.
So that means there's
they're
still the possibility of the statues in Kefka's Tower.
At least Goddess and Inferno and Guardian still in there. Maybe.
And Fire Chicken.
Fire Chicken. Can't forget Fire Chicken.
Sorry, he is my favorite.
So I will say this last seed I was utilizing Gao's Rages, or not, Gao's Rages, and I kept healing almost every boss with the arrow with wind.
Mm-hmm.
And Fire Chicken was one of them. I was like, oh, I'm doing so good, and I'm like healing him for 4,000 with Gao. So some bosses definitely wind is not always the greatest thing, especially if your characters are gonna go be enraged while they're doing it.
Yeah, I think we've anyone who's run, you know, more than 2 or 3 seeds of this has had that moment where they're like, I'm doing great, everything's going awesome. I just healed Goddess for 4,000 damage and she cast Quasar. I've done that more than once recently.
Also, be mindful if you do end up healing bosses with Gao. Hopefully, you didn't equip Gao like I did with like a Paladin shield, Genji helm, and armor, so you can't even kill your own teammate.
Rough. I did miss what the reward at the end of the Serpent Trench was. But I don't think it was a character. Because I didn't see the party select screen.
It does not look like a character. And I think for...
Oh, it was. It was Realm.
What was it?
Oh, hey, look at that. Again, this is why we keep trackers around. They help me look less silly.
I would say, even though it's a dragon hunt, this is still a very good time. that Jack's entering Kefka's tower.
Absolutely. He is the first one to enter the tower. His levels are okay. He is definitely able to beat Kefka at the levels that he's at. Although it won't be a cakewalk. It will be a fight that he actually has to pay attention to.
I don't think he's going to go for any more chests. He's going straight for the bosses now.
Yep. I believe Boo just found a Doom Dragon as a forced fight on the floating continent.
That is very rough.
That's rough. If he makes it through, it is a butt ton of experience. I believe Doom Dragons are the most XP per level in the game.
I think it's the Gigantos, actually.
Oh, you're right. Gigantos is the single encounter with the most XP per level, but Doom Dragons are the most that you can get repeatedly in the vanilla game.
Mhm.
That fight did take a while. Let's see what this. Dullahan is not a bad fight to find at the end here. Although it looks like his GP ended on a 1 because all of his characters got hit with level ? Pearl. For those in the audience who might not know, level ? Pearl will cast Pearl on anyone with a level based on the last digit of your GP. So if the last digit of your GP is 5, it'll hit everyone who's level 5, 10, 15, etc. If the last digit of your MP or GP is 1, it will hit everybody because everything's a multiple of 1. Jack is currently trying to find his third Moogle Charm.
And it looks like we might have another Esper on Boo's screen.
Very nice. Another Carbuncle. We'll certainly take that.
The bad one.
It has Fire 3 on it.
And HP plus 50%.
Both of those are ones you will absolutely take at any time. You're never sad to see that. I believe Fraggle is now looking for some dried meat to do his Gao check, or does he just need some healing items? He bought a few tents and then headed out. Jack is about to give us our first peek at a Kefka's Tower boss. This Inferno spot. Well, we know it's not Inferno because Boo just found Inferno. I believe that's jumping off of Barren Falls. Or Jack decides to go hit a dragon first. Jack, you make me look bad. You make me look like a liar. As I say you're going to do something and you do the exact opposite. Let's see, Fraggle making his way through the Serpent Trench now, and that Inferno doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a trouble there for Boo. And that Skull Dragon is not a frightening enemy. Not one that I've ever had a problem with.
I never really had too much an issue with Skull Dragon. However, I have mistakenly Phoenix downed him several times.
I mean, that is an absolutely fair mistake to make. I mean, it's implied that it's an undead by calling it a skull dragon. It shares a sprite with Zombones, which you can Phoenix down.
Oh,
You know,
that's a Genji helmet though. That's always a good one.
yep, we will take that. Let's see. Boo finds another Magicite for his trouble at the bottom of Barrenfall. It's taking some time to put an Esper there on Realm. I mean, I suppose if she survives the battle and gains a few levels, it's, not a bad thing. Huh. Appropriate. You find Kefka at Kefka's Tower.
This
But
this is a free. Well, I wouldn't say a free Kefka fight because at this level he might have some decent magic power, but clearly Jack just obliterated him.
yeah, it was free.
But if you somehow don't kill that Kefka quickly, I believe he has fire, ice 2, and muddle.
Yeah,
that muddle can kind of mess you up.
He certainly has some nasty tricks up his sleeve, but I think at the power level that we're at now, with Jack and Edge, who are now both in Kefka's Tower, not too worried about it. Looks like Jack is going to find out if that red dragon is vulnerable to stop. We're about to learn too, because I don't actually know. It missed, whether that's due to being invulnerable or due to stop having a poor accuracy. Not really sure. So Jack just broke a shield with Realm onto the fire dragon. And that just shows you the power of breaking items, because Realm is at a much lower level than Celis is, but was still able to do almost 9,000 damage by breaking a shield. It ignores magic defense, it ignores reflect, and it's casting a tier 3 spell. That was actually far more powerful than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to be able to make a point about how it still takes your level into account, and therefore it's not going to be as powerful with a character who's lower level, but never mind. Another thing to note for people who are watching is your level is taken into account in every offensive damage formula in the game, both physical and magic. So if you don't have the Espers with the stat bonuses to grow your strength or grow your magic power, gaining your levels will still make you stronger. And this is a pretty quick seed so far today. There is one more person we should shout out while we're here. Mr. Entity actually came up with the flag set for this seed, giving us something a little bit new and different to try out. So thank you to Mr. Entity for being the brains behind this particular seed. Let me rephrase. We can blame him for the flag set. Blame me for the randomization, because I rolled the seed.
Ooh, and we got a goddess. This is what we've been waiting for. It's not a seed unless we get the goddess in here.
Absolutely. Goddess is required. That is another feature that I would like to see at some point, is boss hunting. you must find and defeat the 3 statues before Kefka's Tower will be open to you, which of course means they can't be in Kefka's Tower.
Yeah, so I don't know if you tried the free enterprise objective mode,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean that's something where we probably could convince Atma to implement it in that sort of way. But we could also, in the meantime, always set up a boss bingo. Those are pretty easy to set up, and those are pretty fun to play with your friends and free and easy to set up.
Absolutely. I believe chat is talking about spell shuffle in terms of what spells the bosses can use.
I don't think we can cast. Well, are you talking about what the bosses could use, or if we could use boss spells ourselves?
That is a very, very good question. I don't know the answer to any of that. So hopefully chat will let us know what exactly they mean, because those are all interesting ideas with different implementations.
Boss spell shuffle. That could be a thing. It definitely could be a hot garbage mess too. It sounds like fun, to be honest.
Yep, and Boo is starting on his dragons. Interesting strategy that Boo chose to go for here, going for the dragons sort of at the end as opposed to the beginning. I'm not sure it's going to work out in terms of Boo being the fastest one to finish in this case, but I could see situations where it could have been the right call. Jack also found Guardian in the Poltergeist spot, so we are finding Kefka's Tower bosses in Kefka's Tower.
That is kind of amazing that he got Realm to stay alive enough to level up in there.
Right? I don't expect him to use Realm in the final fight, but having a 5th character leveled up just in case for those moments when something goes wrong, because something always goes wrong, it is quite useful.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the shields or the evasion, 10 hits or shockwave can kind of mess you up while you're going up there.
Even Quake.
Yeah, Quake
from the first phase can do it too. Kefka as a boss is one of those sort of like Zeromus in Free Enterprise. If you're not careful, Kefka can mess you up. And
this is true.
And I've said this multiple times now, commentating on these, but that's one of the reasons why I prefer having the Kefka fight be unscaled. Because if it's scaled to your level or scaled to how many checks you have done or the various options that we have, a scaled Kefka just isn't as threatening.
Right. So unscaled Kefka, I believe, is at level 71. Whereas a scaled Kefka would probably be around like the 38 to 49 range in a given seed.
Yeah, and those 30 levels make a huge difference, not only in terms of how much HP he has, but how much damage he does. It also means that Kefka's scripts are more predictable. Because as it turns out, the way this game is programmed, it's not programmed based on, raw HP values necessarily. Sorry, on percentages of their total HP. It's based on raw HP values. So, as an example, Final Kefka has a 1/3 chance of countering with the Ultima spell when he's under 10,000 HP. If you go into the Final Kefka fight and he has under 10,000 HP, that first attack you can do can cause an ultimate counter. So, another reason why I prefer Unscaled. Although apparently Atma has changed it to percentages now, which is absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, I don't run Unscaled, or I don't run Scaled Kefka anymore. That's just my choice. My flavor of the day. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if Emma ever does shuffle boss spells, I hope whoever really wants this gets a well casting Meteo on counter. Because I will watch that all day.
Yep. It's kind of funny in this particular game, Meteo as a spell is terrifying. Meteor as a spell, not really.
Nah,
not that great.
I do use Meteor though as a go-to if that's like one of my first non-elemental deals. I use Meteor a lot to take down Magic Master if I don't have Flare.
Yeah. I do firmly believe that most spells in this game, or most abilities, most characters, have their uses. Are there times when one character or another is going to be more useful? Are there times, is Ultima a more powerful spell? Yes. But are there situations where almost every spell is going to be useful? Also, yes. And Jack is now in that Kefka fight. His Celis is doing insane. He's using Realm. She was level 3 when she walked into this.
And she's doing over 9,000 damage already.
Well, magic power +2, Esper, and Realm having the highest starting magic. And he was able to get Fire 3 on her, so and it makes sense. I'm just impressed.
Well, the fact that he's got Shadow just throwing his, his entire kitchen at him is just great.
I think he just targeted himself with one of Shadow's weapons. I think he's trying to get his other character in Shadow's place.
Yeah, possibly. He did throw the Excalibur first, so I figured he just wanted to throw the Excalibur and bring his other character back.
Huh. An interesting play. I don't think I would have necessarily considered that. So Jack is headed up to tier 2, and Edgeworth is just entering the final Kefka fight as well. So Jack definitely has the time advantage here, but it is certainly possible for Edge to catch up if things go a little bit sideways for Jack. And it is certainly possible for things to go sideways.
We got Boo over here on Magimaster.
Magimaster's a lot less threatening when you have 3,000 or 4,000 HP.
Oh, and if your Cyan does about 10k.
Right? It's suddenly a lot less terrifying.
So here's the question. I know that if you have Air Anchor on phase 2 of Kefka, which one is the tools that you can insta-kill?
So it's the one sort of between, it's the target between the girl in the red dress and the blue muscly guy in front.
Okay.
Not the one down below.
Correct. That is, I don't remember. Their names are only ever so slightly related to the reality of what they look like. So, because the other one that I know is Magic in the back, and you just want to mute him.
Oh,
I
you
don't-
can mute him from do you just want to do that to stop him from dispelling?
It doesn't stop him from dispelling. It stops him from casting things like Diffuser and Atomic Ray and etc.
Sure.
As Chad is informing us, Tiger is the Tiger Head. And then the rest are there. Their names have very little reference to what's going on. Edge has now made it to tier 2, making up a little bit of time on Jack. I think Edge has a little bit higher offensive power.
He's got the Genji glove with the 2 fixed dice. Working for him, I believe, on Edgar.
Which certainly will do quite a bit for him. Fraggle is in Phoenix Cave trying to get his 6th dragon before he can jump into Kefka's Tower, although I think you might need one more character along the way. So we'll see if Edge is able to make up enough time on Jack to actually overtake him here. But it looks like Jack only has 2 pieces of phase 2 left, but did that 10 hits do 12k damage to Locke? Or sorry, 1200, not 12k.
Quite possibly. Doesn't seem like he has a whole lot of physical defense on Locke.
Woof. But yeah, as you can see, even phase 2 here, things can start going sideways because you've got Realm, who is now both muted and stopped. And you've got Locke, who's taken a dirt nap. You know, things are probably not quite going to plan here for Jack, and this gives Edge a chance to really catch up here.
Yep, and he's probably going to want to pick up Locke before he ends this phase.
I'm wondering, knowing Jack, he might have a 6th character ready to go, or he might just be accepting the fact that Locke is a lost cause. All right, Jack is now. He's had
got
a 6. What are you doing, Jack? How? How are you doing this?
I mean, an hour and a half in, and you have 6 prepared characters. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And again, to reconfirm the answer for chat, Cyan looks like Mog because he's wearing a Moogle suit. The wonders of random equipable equipment is that sometimes you get random characters who look like Mog. The only thing that makes me sad is that I wish the things like Behemoth suit, Nutkin suit, and Chocobo suit also made you look like those things.
So, for anyone just tuning in, if you haven't done this fight before, you absolutely want to kill the girl on top in phase 3 as soon as you can. Because if you kill the guy on the bottom, she can life 2 that boss and bring him back up to full health.
And that is so depressing.
Mhm.
I have done that more than once. Ooh. Celis does have Quick, which is going to give a chance for a couple of extra spell casts. Not going to be... It's not quite as powerful because he doesn't have a gem box. But still, getting those 2 casts of that Bolt 3 for 10,000 damage apiece.
Calmness. Ooh, he dodges it.
Yep, he had that Fenrir, so calmness is not even a problem. And Jack is on his way to Kefka himself. Now, just like the other tiers, this Kefka fight is not free. You can play it very safe. He will never counterattack if you hit him while the screen is shaking as he's charging up Goner. But that will take quite a bit of time. If you want to go fast, you just need to count your damage and make sure you don't hit him while he's under 10,000 HP. So you don't get that ultimate counter. I have lost a run or two to getting ultimate in the face.
Also, that that is a 1/3 chance. I believe the other 2 are Meteo and Havoc Wing, which Havoc Wing is probably will drop your character if it hits you.
Yeah.
It hits pretty hard.
Yeah, once again, Kefka is no joke. He is a very powerful enemy. Like you said, something like level 71. He's got like 68,000 HP. There is a lot to keep track of. And that's not even considering Goner itself is a pretty powerful ability. And if you don't have enough HP, it will drop you.
To answer chat, there is not a mode that lets Kefka's final form go where you have to hunt it down. Not yet.
I think it has something to do with the scripting of the final battle and how all of that happens, that it would be very, very hard to do. Not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying that it is something that Atma has not chosen to spend his time on.
And there is a Terra behind Doomgaze at Wowzers. Browsers.
Very nice. And I haven't been counting damage on Jack's stream, but I think that that Kefka's going to go down pretty quickly. And there it is. There is the crack boom. Jackimus is done. He is our first place finisher with an official time of 1:48:50. GG to Jack. Let's see if we can get him in here to flap his gums a little bit about what he thought. Ooh. I think Edge just lost 2 people to calmness, so he is basically going into the final Kefka with just Cyan and Celis. Certainly possible, but definitely going to be a bit of a challenge.
Not ideal, but I think he still might have it.
So Jack is going to join us, and hopefully we'll be able to get the stream fix there. Something weird always happens when one of our runners drops out.
It's copying Edge's screen right now.
Yeah, so we do get to see a nice zoom in of Kefka, which is not great. All right, and I believe we are joined by a Jackamus Wedge with a final time of 148.50. GG.
GG,
Thank
Jack.
you. I did the thing.
You did do the thing.
Looks like it was pretty close, though. It looks like Edgy's about to finish up here, too, eh?
Yep. It was certainly a close race. What did you think of the beginning of that seed?
It felt like it was going really well until I ran into a brick wall that was called Sir Behemoth, and then I couldn't get anything done for the better part of a half hour.
I believe that progress was gated behind either Sir Behemoth or Magimaster.
Second place.
Like, those were your choices.
Well, Magimaster was a chump when you came back with wall rings, but yeah, it still wiped to him because the wall ring that I thought I had on one of my guys I found in the dream that I backtracked out of, so how about that?
Yep. And it looks like Edgeworth has just finished with an official time of 150.43. GG, and he's already joined us in here. So we have both Jack and Edge. Well played to both of you.
Hey, thank you. That was a close one, Jack.
Yeah, for sure.
That was very good seed, guys. I do want to ask Jack one question about your shadow strat on the first level of Kefka. Is that a normal strat you go with if you have like a good weapon to throw away?
Oh no, I just did that because I remember in one of the races someone was really upset that I threw the Excalibur, so I took Shadow into the first phase just to throw the Excalibur.
Oh, so you just did it for the memes, huh?
Pretty much. I mean, the first phase is not particularly difficult. I mean, I've got Cyan to instantly kill apart, and then both Realm and Celes are hitting max damage on the face, so I'm thinking, I can have a little bit of fun here and do a nice chunk of damage while I'm doing it.
Well, that's awesome, Jack. Edge, you probably felt pretty good about finding those fixed dice, huh?
Yes and no, because the fixed dice can screw you just as much as they help you out. But I mean, you just got to take what the seed gives you.
Absolutely.
But it seemed to work out this time around. But man, I was kind of irritated. 12 Espers, and then I find Realm, so that felt kind of bad.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really find anything nice at all the whole seed, except for that that Bahamut Esper at the start. That the spells on that basically carried me from start to end. Like the best piece of gear I found was the one Behemoth suit that's guaranteed from the drop from Sir Behemoth. Most of my gear outside my Army of Aegis shields was really bad, like really bad.
And gear certainly makes a huge difference in this game. I think more than in several other randomizers that I have played anyway. You know, that defensive gear, if you don't have it, you're hurting.
Yeah, I wasn't too pleased when I was taking 4-digit damage from some of the swipes on 10 hits there, but I didn't really want Locke for the rest of the final battle there anyway. Edgar was more useful with the drill.
Edge, I did notice in your phase 3, you lost 2 characters on the way up to the final Kefka. Was that part of the plan, or was that something you just had to deal with?
Losing, yeah, it's just how you draw it up. Calmness rolling double on me, yeah. But no, I just didn't have any defense against it, so just I was hoping it would hit one person. I was super happy it hit Locke, and then I was not so happy that it hit again.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you don't have particular defenses against that, your best hope is to sit there and pray.
Yeah, but it worked out pretty well. Cyan's pretty nuts, and you know, Celes with Magus Rod, Magus Hat, you know, all the +2 Esper. That was pretty.
I have a question. Where on Earth was the gem box or any other halfway decent relic?
The gem box you bought from Zen. I had extra money and figured why not.
Okay, yeah, I never ended up going to Zen because I found all my Espers before I found my last character.
Yeah, I was still looking for the last character, so I was hitting item shops to find dried meat, and then just figured I'd buy that in case, maybe it's a really good item. Offering would be cool. Illumina would be lit, but nothing. Just a gem box, which is also pretty sweet.
Yeah, I would have been pretty happy to have one of those, because, I mean, I was basically just spamming Quick and Bolt 3 all over the place, so, I don't know, doing 50,000 damage around would have been nice.
You say that like you didn't have enough damage to get through the fights.
Oh, no, once I got past Master and gained a few levels on Sellies and picked up her Flare and Bolt 3, I was cruising pretty good for most of the rest of the seed, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the old put down the controller and go do something else fight.
Yeah, that's literally what I said, and now to put the controller down, and then I'm thinking, maybe that bathroom break I took before the race, I could have waited and done right here.
My fiance saw me come out of the kitchen. She's like, "What happened? Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just fighting Magimaster with a wall ring. We're fine."
Yup.
All right. Well, once again, GG to both of you. Thank you guys for joining us here in the chat. Let's turn our attention now to Boo and Fraggle. Fraggle is looking for, I think, one more dragon and one more character. And Boo is doing his dragon fights. And I think he just got his Gao. So I think he's got all of the characters he needs.
All right,
GG,
right
Jack.
on. Yeah, good race, Edgy. I'll probably just watch the rest of this, and before I go, let's go, Bruins!
I actually have just gotten word from the folks at Randomania. We might need to wrap it up here. I believe this channel is about to be used again. We're going to double check, make sure that is the case. And if that is the case, make sure that we can tell you what is coming up right after us. So you can choose to watch it. Let's see, while we figure that out, Boo is fighting that blue dragon with 7 Thunder Shields. Those Thunder Shields should make a pretty quick work of this blue dragon, but that Thunder Shield must have found them in a shop and bought them, right?
The Thunder Shields were in a shop.
Yeah. Otherwise, how do you end up with 7? And Fraggle has found a battle here. I'm not 100% sure what this battle is. Is he just trying to gain a couple of levels?
I believe so.
Never mind. Apparently, we are good to continue. We do not need to cut the stream. So here we are. You get another bit of time with our the dulcet voices of Rav and Vamp as we continue this race.
Well, we are purely at the dragon hunt portion now. Got 1 more dragon for Fraggle, and Boo is ready to go to Kefka's Tower.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Boo is going to blaze through that tower pretty quickly. If I remember correctly, his equipment and his level should be pretty good. One thing I think Boo is trying to find his way out of the Phoenix Cave. I guess he doesn't have a warp stone. One of the other things you can do if you find yourself in this situation is just go back to the end. If you notice when you clear out Phoenix Cave, there's a little sparkling star in that last room where you would normally find Locke. If you then talk to that sparkling star, it will let you out. Just an FYI for those of us who might find ourselves in that particular situation in the future. You can, of course, walk yourself out the long way, like Boo is doing, and go catch the... there's a hook outside that will get you where you need to go. And I believe Fraggle is now going for the Magimaster, or for the White Dragon fight up in Fanatic's Tower, and that is the last. That will be the last dragon for Fraggle, and that means Boo and Fraggle are going to be going into Kefka's Tower pretty close to each other. Fraggle is just one fight behind Boo, so it looks like we're going to get two sets of pretty close Kefka's Tower fights. Yeah, look at Boo's levels. He's got high 40s and low 50s. This tower is not going to prove much of a challenge for him. He's going to be doing so much damage. Fraggle has now finished up that Storm Dragon up in Fanatic's Tower, and he's going to be walking his way out and headed to Kefka's Tower as well. You know, despite the fact that this seed had 8 dragons required, starting with the 3 characters that gate those dragons has really made the seed about the same amount of time as one of our standard racing flags seeds. Because without that, if you have to go on a character hunt, that can take a while. So this was our concession to ensure that we were able to complete this race in a reasonable amount of time for everyone involved. I think it also helps that the 3 characters that we're starting with here, being Locke, Edgar, and Cyan, are 3 of the more useful and powerful characters in this randomizer for different reasons. Cyan, if you can complete his dream, is stupidly powerful. Locke, if you get the weapon shop and the cursed shield, which are also stupidly powerful. Cyan blocks the dragon and Mount Zozo. And Edgar, with his tools, when you get drill or chainsaw again, or air anchor again, stupidly powerful. It's not like you're starting with 3 characters and you get Gogo, Umaro, and Mog. So I think it was a combination of both starting with 3 characters and starting with these 3 particular characters.
I mean, this is a really fun format. I'd like to see this ran again. Maybe the next seed will be a little bit more forgiving on the early bosses, but we shall see.
I mean, if you want that, you're going to need to have someone else roll it other than me.
Yeah, you always make sure that they see Goddess at least once.
You know, just the magic power of my will. I want it to happen. I want our runners to suffer because I'm just that nice.
I would also like to see, like, hopefully maybe in the future, something along the lines of like the free enterprise objective. Like if we do more of these dragon hunts, where the game actually just ends after the last dragon killed. That would be, that would also be kind of cool if we got into doing this more often. It'd probably save a little bit more time.
Oh yeah. In a case like that, I would like to see the dragons mixed in with the regular bosses as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly so you don't invalidate the entire world of balance.
Right.
Let's see, Boo is fighting Kefka, little Kefka, and Fraggle's entering the tower. We are in the final stretches here of this race, so here is hoping for a smooth sailing for our racers for the rest of this. I think they've had enough challenges thus far. Looks like one of our off-stream racers, Tuan, just finished in third place with an official time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 43 seconds. So GG to Tuan.
GG Tuan. Oh, geez, that's a low party.
Which one?
On Fraggle's screen, his first party in Kefka's tower is no characters higher than level 22. That is gonna be a little rough.
That's dangerous. I hope it works out for him. I mean, with that first party, I think you can get through with only doing one boss? Or is there a dragon on the first?
I believe there's a dragon.
So you can get through it doing two. We know the two dragons in here are not the scary ones, so might be okay.
But yes, a good rule of thumb if anyone's getting into this randomizer, if you stack your third party with your strongest characters, and when you go to do the split, when you hit the switches and you go left first, you'll ensure that third party will get the brunt of the majority of the bosses you have to kill. Same thing if you were to go with like Phoenix Cave, your party that sits on the initial switch getting through the door, that party is going to see the dragon before the other party. So it's always good to kind of keep that in mind if you're setting yourself up for a route like that.
Absolutely. Fraggle has made the choice to go fight the boss at the Atma spot, which is in this case Funbaba, which is at least not the Funbaba that's going to Baba Breath you out of Kefka's tower. We did remove that boss from the shuffle because we determined that was really funny to see happen that one time, but after that it was kind of awful. So that Funbaba will what it will do, it is going to be a guaranteed item drop. That is what the Atmospot will give you. I'm not sure. I wonder what item Fraggle is hoping to get from this fight.
I mean, at this point, I don't think it's an item. I think he might be a little underleveled. Might need some experience, and maybe he's just hoping to get that save point down. I'm not entirely sure, so he can do a little bit of grinding.
That is a good point. I did forget that it will give you a save point as well. Oh,
Who
ooh,
is in bad shape?
that love token on Edgar did not help.
So I believe that love token only affects fight, right? So he could be casting any tool and still be damaging Goddess.
Absolutely. It only affects fight. I believe the offering even bypasses it. But that is one downside of Goddess and having all those thunder shields. Goddess is one of the bosses that absorbs thunder. And the other downside, he is using an Atma weapon, which means anytime he takes damage, his Atma weapon gets less powerful. So it looks like he's moving on to some magic strats here on this Goddess.
And he now has a timer.
I think it'll actually be after the next spell that Goddess does. Quasar is
It's not Quasar.
effectively just a meteor spell. Non-elemental, no split damage. Strago can learn it, incidentally.
That
And
is pretty
if
neat.
you're starting with random lures, Quasar, Arrow, Grand Train are sort of the ones that I'm looking for at the beginning.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that that signal to me that using lures on Strago is going to be worth my time.
Yeah, I think Boo's got it now, as long as he doesn't use fight.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the spell. Is it Overcast?
Yeah. Now, might have a ribbon. So, oh no, there it is. I'm like, that timer didn't pop up there for a minute, did it?
I don't think Ribbon stops it. Maybe was it like a memento ring or a safety bit might stop that?
I believe so. Yes.
Mm. Oh,
There we go.
He's got it.
Whew, I would hate to have to restart that fight, especially with considering it's one of his weaker parties that is fighting it. Although I suppose with the Atma weapon on and at level 50, Edgar can power his way through most anything. He just got unlucky with that love token. Guardian will not stand up to Thunder Shields very well.
Okay, so even though he's doing max damage with a Thunder Shield, is if he didn't have the magic power to kind of boost it, would he do more damage with a single target or with the all Thunder Shield if it was still only one enemy he was targeting?
So if there's only one enemy that it's targeting, there's no splitting of the damage. Damage only gets split by if there are actually more than one target. It doesn't matter what the targeting that you use, if that makes sense.
it does.
So things like Ultima are affected by target split, and you cannot single target Ultima, but it will still do more damage if there's only one enemy on the field. Interesting. We didn't see any of the best swords in the game, did we? We didn't see Ragnarok or Illumina at all.
Nope.
So that means that Atma weapon probably is the best weapon that Edgar can equip at this point.
He does have an Excalibur that he could swap out, which is what I'd probably do. Because it is health based, and he's not guaranteed to keep all of it.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure which one would be overall better. I think it just depends on like what exactly situation you're in.
And I'm probably more of a fan to use Atma weapon after like level 60. Before that, I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna be hitting for 9s.
Right. And that's because Atma weapon does add a multiplier to your damage, which is your current level over 64. So if you're at level 64 or better, it will do the full damage it's supposed to do based on your HP level, etc. But if you're under that, it will do less damage. Which is why even at 100% HP, using Atma weapon at level 3 isn't gonna do you much good. Funny, both Fraggle and Boo are using Atma weapons on their Edgars.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that until just now. And Boo is getting himself ready, I think. Does he have one more boss battle before the final fight? Yep, one more, and then he is ready to go. And this is with his most powerful party. Shadow and Cyan are going to make short work of... I forget what this boss is. Is it Dottaluma?
I think so. I don't think we've seen him on Boo's screen yet.
So I think this party is going to be... Oh no, it's Air Force. Still going to be a little bit of overkill. I also didn't see any of our runners happen to pick up skeins for Shadow to throw.
No skeins.
No. But for a fight like this, a Thunder Scroll would be pretty useful. I would certainly take it. But at this point, I'm being very choosy for the fact that, we've got, Quadra Slice hitting for almost 3,000 damage a hit. What does it matter? Right?
Right. I mean, that's where you kind of, it's all on the player's preference, where they're going to have to make a decision what they're going to spend their money on, because ultimately, I would say in a given seed, I probably don't get any more than maybe 100k without selling items.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're looking for defensive, you're probably going to be spending at least 60 to 70k on defensive items. Or, you might be that rod guy, and, and you just burn all of your money on rods. And I've seen people walk in here with 50 rods. It works.
It does. And one of the reasons why I would throw a Thunder Scroll when I could throw a Thunder Shield, Thunder Scrolls cost about 10% the price of a Thunder Shield.
Mm-hmm.
and do maybe a third of the damage. So in terms of damage per gold spent, the scrolls are a really good investment. They're no rods, but they're a really good investment.
So aside from throwing the shields, it's also good, worth noting that the shields also do teach you some spells, but there are some maybe some shields that people don't know that teach them spells. I believe Aegis teaches you Shell.
That's the force shield, I believe.
Force shield. The Paladin shield teaches you Ultima. And all the elemental shields are +2 on or the second tier elemental spell you learn from them. So you pretty much you pay a convenient cost for that extra 10-20% that you're spending on those shields.
Absolutely. And this is assuming that you have prices with just a random distortion and not random prices.
Oh, did we have Ultima turned off for the Paladin shield?
Honestly, I would have to double check the log.
Huh.
No, Ultima is true.
Well, yeah, I guess Ultima wasn't happening for any of the runners, but that you can't beat that block or evasion.
True. And I bet that actually fed into why a couple of our runners sold the Curse Shield early on. It's less enticing if you can't learn Ultima from the shield. It's still really good. Don't get me wrong.
Was it 27? I thought it was 21.
It was certainly in the 20s, which is at the point where you are questioning if it's worth it.
I mean, okay, well that's I'm just addressing chat real quick. Even like 15, 16 fights isn't really that bad if you are routing some of the force fights into your route, like Leet River, Floating Continent, Burning Building. You just want to be on the lookout for that peace ring or a ribbon if you have lock early on. Slap that shield on if you got a peace ring, because you're gonna you want to try to cleanse it somehow. But if you don't have a peace ring, take your weapon off. I can't stress that enough. If you take your weapon off, you're not gonna kill your party.
How many times have you done that?
Enough. I mean, I've thrown fixed dice at my party members so many times.
Oh, that's rough. So earlier you were mentioning you were a little bit worried about one of Fraggle's parties being very low level.
Not anymore. I don't. He's already there.
I believe that party fought tunnel armor, so everything's fine. It did not have a tough boss fight.
He chose wisely.
Ooh, that flare star was rough on Boo. It downed his Celis, which I assume he is going to get her back up as quick as he can, because she's been a pretty good powerhouse for all of her runners today. I don't believe that remedy is actually going to solve stop. Remedy says that it cures all status conditions. Remedy in this game lies. It is full of lies and deceit.
It is. It truly is.
It doesn't cure that. I don't believe it cures imp. It doesn't cure
It does
zombie.
cure. It does cure imp. It does not cure zombie.
Okay. There was something that I was expecting to cure imp that didn't. It might have been the remedy spell.
Mhm.
Because, and while I'm not positive on this, it would not surprise me in the least to find out that the spell and the item are different. Whew. Did you see that Shadow throw a basic shuriken for 5k damage?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good for an item that generally costs around 30 GP apiece.
Yep. I mean, in a given seed, if you find shurikens at the shop, you could probably spend about 5k and have like 99 of them. So, that's where your level really comes in handy.
Absolutely, because your level is a huge impact in the damage formulas for this game.
Now, I'm not sure. Does strength play a part in throw?
I'm not sure, but I do know that strength or vigor, because it's called both things,
Right.
plays a way smaller role in all of the damage formulas it is a part of
Mhm.
than you hope it would.
It truly does, because I mean, you could have a +2 strength on a character for say about 30 levels. Yeah, you're going to be doing a lot more damage, but you're not going to be doing as much damage as say like the magic power scaling does. So it might kind of throw you off, but it does make a difference in the long run.
Right, absolutely. It does make a difference, but it is less than you think. The advantage of physical damage over magical damage here is that it is much more easy to break the damage cap with physical damage than it is with magic damage.
I believe, quote me if I'm wrong, but or tell me if I'm wrong, but I think someone said that the amount of MP, the amount of max MP you have, has a direct relation to how much you crit.
With certain weapons.
Okay.
There are certain weapons that will consume MP to do a critical hit.
Like an enhancer.
Enhancer might be one of them. I'm not 100% sure. Oh.
Ooh, where did he get Cure 3?
Yeah. This is one of the other downsides of the Excalibur is that it is a it has the holy element, which means girl will absorb it.
Mm.
Girl is the reason why you need as much non-elemental damage as possible, because she will absorb every single element in the game. Looks like Boo is going with the kill, sleep, and pray to not get double calmness strat. Because I don't see a Fenrir or Golem cast coming out here.
Did he kill Girl already?
Yeah.
Okay.
She took 3 quadra slices to the face.
Yeah, I believe she only has around like 15k health, if that.
I believe it is 9,999 exactly.
Oh, even better.
Ooh, double Meteo. That could have gone a lot worse than it did, actually.
Ooh.
Single
not the
calmness.
character. That's not the character you want to go down, though.
It's not, but it could have been 2. I will take 1 character going down. Fraggle has mentioned, by the way, that he is currently all in on this fight. If he takes a wipe here, he is going to need to leave due to real life concerns. So let's give all of our energy to Fraggle and hope that he makes it through this fight.
I think Fraggle's got it.
I mean, when you see Edgar with 4,000 HP, I'm not worried about it at all.
And I think he's the only one that has been utilizing the jump box.
Boo just got Fallen One, but then is immediately Megalixered. This is why we save our Megalixers.
This is the one fight you want to just have at least just one.
And you know what? His low-leveled Sabin just contributed 700 damage. You go, Sabin. You helped.
You did the thing.
Oh,
That's,
8,000 damage on that lock. Rough. Boo is at the point of stripping off Thunder Shields just to break them.
I like it.
This is the final battle. You're not saving them for anything else.
The fact that he survived that Havoc Wing, though, that's good Edgar there.
Yeah.
The king shall not fall.
Long live the king.
I will say this though, probably one of the greatest moments of this randomizer so far was, for me, is I found Edgar on the Veldt, just so hungry. I had to feed him dried meat to get him.
Look at you, Sabin. You're still helping. So while we're watching these Kefka fights go on, just want to remind everyone that please join our Discord, join this community. You are welcome to join any of our races, jump into an async race, jump into a community race. In our community, just ask a question in our Discord, and there will probably be 3 or 4 people ready and willing to answer you almost all times of the day. There are some of us who work nights, so yes, at 3 a.m., I am able to check the Discord and answer your questions. So please join us. So far, this community has been really great to me. Really friendly folk. And we look forward to growing the community and making it bigger.
Absolutely. There's lots of guides and strategy content that everyone has kind of collaborated as a whole. A lot of people come together to put a lot of resources out there for a lot of newcomers. So even if you don't have the most if you don't remember this game as much as you played it before, or if you've never played it, there's resources in our Discord that will help you kind of truck along and learn it pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And I think, both you and I have jumped in with a new player, in a voice chat, just helping them figure out where they needed to go next and what they needed to do. So
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of fun even just doing that, I like helping new players and showing them, hey, if you do this, you'd actually be smashing on this boss, and it's actually not really a thing.
yeah. And there we go. Boo just finished with a final time of 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 43 seconds. Ooh, I was a little bit nervous on that last cast of Bolt 3 because I figured his Kefka was low enough to counter with an Ultima. So if he didn't finish there, it was going to be a little touch and go. Let's see if Boo is going to want to join us. His response was, sure. So I'll get Boo in here, and while I'm doing that, we can see that Fraggle is not that far behind on tier 2, making his way through with that Edgar doing 4K drills. And we are joined by Boo, our 4th place finisher with 2 hours, 34 minutes, 43-second time. GG, Boo.
Hey, how's it going?
I think more entertaining for us than for you.
Yeah, probably so. That was pretty brutal. I think I spent the first 40 minutes just dying a lot, so that didn't help. And then, of course, at the end, they took out both my... Well, first, the only person who could stop Calmness, and then Calmness got my main source of damage. So, you know, it happens, I guess.
You know, I would apologize for rolling a cruel seed, but just know that it would be insincere because I do enjoy watching our runners suffer.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I don't know how some people do it so quickly. I need to go back and get some pointers, I guess. I searched the whole time, for rods and stuff, and of course found some too late, and I got some super balls, which did me no good. Mostly just did a whole lot of dying. So I'm curious to see what routes the other runners took, that they were able to get through it so quickly.
Absolutely. And that's something that I've done a couple of times myself, is gone back and watched a race that I was a part of, watched the restream just to see the different choices that other people made and how they got through some of those challenging spots, because like that early Magimaster and the early Sir Behemoth, I think, were the two big roadblocks in this seed.
Yep, and also hitting the Doomgaze spot anyway, with Doom himself being part of it, didn't do me any favors either. Just that random hit.
That was so unlucky.
Yeah, well, live and learn. It was fun. Well, most of it was fun.
I think it's effective to say rando's gonna rando.
For sure.
Well, anything else you want to let the audience know about this seed and how you went about it?
Oh, nah, I'm just happy. Well, I'm not. I can't say I'm happy yet. I hope I used up all my bad luck on this race, and I'll do my battle royale tomorrow. Hopefully, go a little better.
Yeah.
There you go.
For those who are watching who might not know, we're currently running an event called the Battle Royale, where every week we run a seed, and the bottom 2 finishers from the seed get cut. Once we get up to probably the top 10, certainly the top 4, we're going to start restreaming our races. But that will be a little bit of time going on. And I believe all 3 people talking right now are part of the Battle Royale.
Still in it. Probably for about one more week.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys in a few weeks when they start the restreams, but I guess we'll see.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, and GG. And so Fraggle is now making his way through this tier 2. He was really well served by a life 2 because his Edgar had gone down earlier. But life 2 showing its use here, pulling that Edgar back up, because I think his Edgar is his main damage dealer next to Cyan at this point.
Fraggle's got this. I mean, ooh, Murton off the bat. Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, that's not so bad. And I think he has a source of either Fenrir or Golem to get through, or to mitigate calmness. One thing I also noticed, I believe Fraggle is the only runner we have who did not complete Cyan's Dream. And the only reason I can tell that is that Cyan does not have his 8th sword tech. And there we go. That is girl down with 2 flares and a sword swipe. She is down, so now it is just sleep. And are we going to be able to mitigate calmness, or are we going to have to take it on the chin?
I think we're gonna hit it and hope. At this point,
I mean, isn't it technically possible to not get a calmness counter?
I mean, I've gotten through it without getting it, I believe.
That, and you also have your natural evade. Calmness is a physical attack, so you can just naturally block it or evade it.
That's where you really want to, when you're faced with an Aegis shield, a Genji shield, and a Force shield, I'm all about the evasion and the M block. Magic defense is good if you're taking stuff on the chin, but if you got that M block and your evasion up, you're probably just not even going to get hit by those spells.
Right. Why have good defenses when you can just not take damage at all?
Right.
Pardon me. Right, here we go.
On this.
Unlock, that seems okay. Just the one. You know what? I'll
That's
take
the
just the one.
I'm assuming that's the one he wanted anyways, to go down.
If you have to choose someone to be tribute, Locke seems to be a pretty good choice.
And just remember, he's a treasure hunter, not a thief.
That is absolutely vital. Thank you for reminding us.
And just to kind of put in perspective, I started it was a different version, but I started a vanilla seed, and these guys are finishing these seeds within an hour and a half, maybe between 3 hours. I just got my first espers in the vanilla game 3 hours in, so I mean, you can definitely fly through this game while it's still being having all that content in there, and it doesn't feel like a lot is truly missing, and you can kind of get a whole experience in this open world.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having access to that airship early on. I mean, imagine how quick the vanilla speedrun would be if you had an airship to start.
Oh, I've seen some of the speed runs, and I'm not learning the timer with the Wowzer doors. I don't know if you've seen that one.
If anyone has not seen, I think they call it the New Game Plus %
Yes,
speed run. Look that up. It is absolutely ridiculous. It is really entertaining to watch. I would never want to learn it. Like
they break the game. It's what you see is not not normal.
Is that Celus's runic going to be done by the time Edgar? Okay. Nope, there we go. I believe Fraggle's trying to use runic in case
Ultima comes up.
Right. I think Havoc Wing is also runicable.
I think Havoc Wing's physical attack.
There's another one of his attacks that is runicable that you go, wait, oh, it's
Right,
Hyperdriver.
Right.
It's like, why can I runic this? But I think runic is actually one of the more slept-on abilities in this game. It is incredibly powerful. It will just straight up, like, eliminate or ignore a lot of enemy defense. So
Just
Runic
keep
is
in
really good.
just keep in mind if you use it and you cast the spell, you just runic your own spells though.
Maybe it's an intentional strategy to feed more MP into Celis.
Could be.
But what we see Fraggle doing here is doing quick strats, which quick does some craziness. It like gives you 2 extra turns in a row. So if you mix it with a what the hell do you call it? Gem box, you're able to cast like 6 spells in a row. It's pretty absurd.
It's running out of time though. For this
Running.
shake.
There's the crack boom. He is done.
GG's
GG to Fraggle with a 245.56. Well played, and that is all of our runners who are finished, both on stream and off. So GG to every single one of our runners tonight.
Shoutouts to everyone that helped out with the stream. Dark Fowls, Rough Fellows, Classy Badger, Rev, and we even had an appearance of Atmatech in the stream today. That was great.
All right. I think Fraggle's going to come in to say a few words, and then we'll say a few words, and then we'll head out of here. But overall, this was a great run from everyone involved. It was not an easy seed. This was certainly challenging for all of our runners. All of our runners encountered roadblocks. So well done to everybody. See, I think we're fighting a little bit of a technical challenge here, getting trying to get Fraggle into a voice channel. There and oh, sorry, folks. We're working through a bit of a Discord, having some fun with us. I don't know about the rest of you, but you know, Discord, one of my favorite programs. I have many Discord servers, but every so often it just decides to do whatever the hell it wants to do. While we're here, just want to once again plug that we are here. Hello, Fraggle. Welcome.
All right. Oh, that was a horrible start.
If it makes you feel any better, everyone had a horrible start.
I can imagine. Just go here. Oh, reset. Go there. Reset. Oh, look, it's Magimaster. Reset.
It was definitely entertaining on our end.
Oh, yeah.
It was good for the viewers.
Yeah, when I watch the VOD back later, I'm probably going to laugh. But all the while, it was just wanting to bang my head on the desk. Just couldn't get a break.
Yeah. You eventually went back to Magimaster when you had leveled up some. Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah.
If you find next time if you find a wall ring and literally just sit there and do nothing, Magimaster will eventually kill himself with his own reflected spells.
Keep that one in mind if I come across a wall ring next time and he's there. Usually I don't run into him that much, so
It's just one of those. It'll take some time, but if you don't do anything, Magimaster won't put up any elemental resistance, and he'll just keep casting spells that hit himself.
brilliant. I'll have to keep that one in mind.
Yep.
Went back when I have flare and just went, right, this'll
Yep.
hit him.
Absolutely will. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to say, GG, well played. You put on a great show for us. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. It was
And
great being on again. At
And-
least to beat Kefka on this run.
yep, Kefka certainly took it on the chin.
Till next week.
And speaking of next week at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we will have our next community race. I will be posting some flags for it in our Discord in the next day or two once I determine what the flags for next week's race will be. And the other thing to look out for is we are in the middle of our Battle Royale tournament. And probably in 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to start having restreamed races of those as well. So keep your eye out for more Worlds Collide content coming up, and please join us in our Discord. Come join one of these races. Always looking for another more community members. And Classy has so kindly reminded me, next week is the Randomania Mega Week. We'll actually be starting at 7:15, and I believe we are running just our standard racing flags for that one. So see y'all next week.
Guys.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, and have a great night to all the Moogles and Chocobos watching.